Well, that wasn't fun. I wasn't planning on doing a post game for preseason games, but I think I just want to talk about it. I think out of frustration, yeah, that wasn't great. That wasn't great. And again, I know it's on the preseason, but it didn't. None of that was good at all on all phases. Offense, defense, special teams, it all looked awful. The Packers, I think the entire team there wasn't an ounce of discipline at all, at all. It was all bad. It was all bad. I think there was one good thing to look at. One good thing to look at. Amar Johnson had a touchdown. That's it. I think that's the only good thing here. The Jets blew them out 30-10. Again, it's preseason. Who cares? But it's just frustration for me. Jordan Love was 1 for 5 for only 7 yards, and he was sacked once. A lot of drops when Jordan was on the field. That's not great. Drops aren't great. I think they had 4 or 5 in total. Not great. Not great. Packers led the league in drops last year, and apparently just not fixing it. Just not fixing it. Again, it's preseason, I know, but still, not great. Malik Willis, 4 for 7, 39 yards. He had a fumble in the end zone, sack fumble, and the Jets got a touchdown of it. Again, not great awareness. Not great. Sean Clifford, 2 for 4, 14 yards, and Elgerson, 3 for 4, he had 24 yards. And those yards for Elgerson, it was garbage time, 2 minutes left, and nobody cared. Nobody cared at that point. A total of 10 for 22 for 84 yards for our quarterbacks today. Not great. Not great. Not great. Again, there's drops in there, but none of them look comfortable. None of them look comfortable. Again, I know it's preseason, but none of them look comfortable. This was probably I think this was honestly the worst I've seen the Packers in a preseason game in my short memory that I have. Last year against Denver wasn't great either, but this was awful. This was awful. This was an undisciplined team on the field, and you would think that you're seeing guys on the field who are trying to make the roster. They're trying to make a football team, and they're out there, and it's like nobody's trying. Nobody. Rushing, Amar Johnson, to me, player of the game, 67 yards and a touchdown. He looked good. He looked good, and he had a touchdown. That's awesome. It was good for him. That's great. I already screwed this up. Abagwanda, I'm just going to call him Abba. Abba he had only, I think that's 19 yards. Chris Brooks had 17, Jalen White had 16, and Malik Willis had 5. And it seemed that whenever the Packers were on the field up until like the fourth quarter, it seemed that any positive play they had was just brought right back by a penalty. They had 7 penalties for 64 yards. It felt like a lot more than 7, because most of those it was holding. Not great. This is disciplinary stuff. This is just being disciplined. Receiving, Shepard led the team with 20 yards and 2 receptions. That's it. That was our leading receiver, 20 yards. Fitzpatrick, Johnson, Golden, Hicks, Heath, Lumpkin, Musgrave, and Sims all had a reception. Just one. Not great, but just not great. None of it was great. McCole Hardman had a muff punt that led to Jets points. But the ball bounced, and again, I'm not a professional football player, but watching it, just let it bounce. Just let it bounce. You're within the 10. Just let it bounce, my man. Just let it bounce. It's going to go on a bounce. But he touched it and muffed it. What are we doing? Apparently special teams has learned nothing. And again, I know it's only preseason, it's first preseason game, but it looks like the Packers have learned nothing since the end of the season in Philly last year. Dropping, muffing balls, turning over the ball. And again, the tackling. The tackling was horrific. There was no tackling. Apparently, Mosby is the only guy who knows how to tackle. Just wrap him up and bring him down. I tweeted this on Twitter. The Packers, this week, I want to go to training camp this week. I wasn't going to go anymore this year. I've only gone twice, but I wasn't going to go anymore. but I might have to go. And they got like booths there where you can make signs. I'm gonna make a sign that says "Learn how to tackle, please, please." There were so many runs and receptions that the Jets had that they had way more after catch or run yards because the Packers just like run into them and hit them, and then that doesn't tackle anybody. Wrap them up. They weren't doing that either. Packers never got a sack. Danny Whelan, he had 6 punts for 52 yard average. His longest was 63. So Whelan still knows how to play football. That's good. Danny Whelan gets to make the team. That's it. It's Danny Whelan. That's it. That's who gets to make the team. That's it. Danny Whelan and Brandon McManus are the only 2 guys who get to make the team. You know what? They get a free ice cream cone at practice this week. Nobody else gets ice cream. And the Packers, they never got in the red zone. There was no red zone plays for the Packers this week. Or tonight. But there was none. They never got there. Anytime they ever got close, got brought back by a penalty. In total, the Packers had 188 total yards. Compared to the Jets, who had 403. That first drive, the Packers defense made Justin Fields look like Lamar Jackson. That was cool. That was fun. Real great. The Packers were 1 for 10 on third down. Not great. That's not great. Again, some of those were brought back because of penalties. I don't know. Jets ran 68 plays, the Packers 47. The Jets had an average passing of 9.1 average yards, so the Packers had 2.5. These are just little notes I wrote down that I thought were relevant. The Jets had 3 more penalties. They were 10 for 41 in penalties, 10 penalties, 41 yards. And Packers 7 for 64. Not great. They were drive killers. That's what they were. They were drive killers. That's all I got. They looked off. Again, I know it's preseason. It's only the first preseason game. But that team had... What I watched tonight, that team had no discipline. And you would think for guys who are trying to make the team, there'd be a little bit more there. And LaFleur looked frustrated, and some of the other coaches looked frustrated. But it just didn't look good. It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look tonight. It really wasn't. And hopefully that changes. The Packers will be going down to Indianapolis next Saturday. They have joint practices with the Colts next week, and hopefully they can clean up some of the stuff, and we can see a better team next week for the game in Indy. But I just want to get a couple of my frustrations out there. Again, rough night. Rough night. And I was actually thinking of going to this game. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have just been frustrated the whole time. But on to next week. Colts next week. Hopefully we'll see more of the starters. Again, a lot of guys didn't play tonight. No Reed, no Jacobs, McKinney, Wicks. All guys didn't play this week. Maybe we'll get to see them next week. And a couple of them might have injuries, but we'll see them. We'll see next week. And then... maybe if it's good, I'll make another video, and maybe it'll be a happy video. Or if it's still frustrating, maybe I'll do another one. I would like to maybe not do a post game for preseason games, because they're preseason and no one's really going to talk about it. But I'm just rambling at this point. All right, well, maybe we'll see you guys next week. Maybe not. I hope you guys have a good night. Go Pack, go.